The houses on Maple Creek Lane were all quite similar, with neat lawns and tidy flower beds. It was the kind of suburban street where everyone waved to each other, feeling safe and ordinary. But beneath this calm surface, a dark secret was waiting. Caleb Rains lived in the small blue house at number 142. He was a man who kept to himself, almost invisible to his neighbors. Most knew him as a quiet figure who mowed his lawn with intense focus every second Saturday. Behind the closed blinds of number 142, a different reality was unfolding. The orderliness of the street did not extend into Caleb's home or his life. The carefully maintained exterior of his house concealed a growing darkness within. The neighbors saw a man who blended in, a person who caused no trouble and drew no attention. They had no reason to suspect that the silence from his house was not one of peace, but one of concealment. The street's illusion of perfect harmony was fragile, and it would soon be broken by the most unlikely of things: a post about a missing dog. It all began with a simple Facebook post about a lost golden retriever, Buddy. The post was shared widely across local community groups. This time, however, the post would do something much more. The post appeared in the Maple Creek Neighbors Facebook group, quickly filling with comments of support. Among the comments, a pattern began to emerge. People were not just talking about Buddy. They were talking about other things they had noticed around the neighborhood. Caleb Rains was not on Facebook and was oblivious to the digital chatter. The search for Buddy was becoming a search for answers to questions nobody had yet thought to ask. The post was a catalyst, giving people a reason to talk and share small concerns. A lost dog was a common problem that needed a community solution. This collective goal lowered the barrier for sharing information. What started as a simple effort to find a beloved pet was transforming into an impromptu investigation. The comments section was becoming a repository of observations, a collection of seemingly unrelated details that, when put together, would paint a very disturbing picture of life on Maple Creek Lane. The first significant comment came from a woman who lived 2 doors down from Caleb Rains. She mentioned hearing a lot of barking a few nights ago, coming from near the blue house on the corner. Others chimed in, agreeing that the barking was frantic and then stopped suddenly. Another neighbor added hearing late-night digging from the same backyard. The word shovel hung in the digital air, unsettling the community. The comments were no longer just about a lost dog. They were about strange noises in the night. Then came the most damning observation: a photo of Caleb's backyard with a large rectangular patch of freshly turned earth. The image was stark, visual proof that something was amiss. The digital whispers had become a roar. The barking, the digging, the disturbed soil. These were no longer isolated incidents. They were connected clues, laid out for everyone in the Facebook group to see. The neighbors, who had once only exchanged polite waves, were now collaborating online. They were connecting dots that they never would have noticed on their own. The search for Buddy the dog had faded into the background. A new, more sinister mystery had taken its place, and all signs were pointing directly at the quiet man in the small blue house. The online conversation did not go unnoticed. An off-duty police officer who lived in the area saw the thread and read through the comments with growing concern. The story they told was more than just neighborhood gossip. It was a sequence of events that triggered his professional instincts. He decided it was time to bring this to the attention of his colleagues. The officer learned that the department was working on a missing person case. A young woman named Sarah Jenkins had been reported missing by her family 2 weeks earlier. Detectives had discovered through phone records that Sarah had been in contact with Caleb Rains on the night she disappeared. The Facebook post provided the missing link. The timeline of events described by the neighbors matched the period shortly after Sarah Jenkins had vanished. It was the breakthrough the police had been looking for. The online comments gave them a specific location to focus on: Caleb Rains' backyard. The investigation shifted gears. The police now had a working theory. They believed that the strange events in Caleb's backyard were connected to Sarah's disappearance. The online chatter had transformed from simple neighborly concern into crucial intelligence. The pixels on the screen had become the foundation for a real-world police operation, one that was closing in on Caleb Rains. With the information from the Facebook group, the police obtained a warrant. They needed a more subtle approach to avoid alerting Caleb Rains. The solution was to use a drone, a modern tool for a modern investigation. The drone was launched from a nearby park, its small camera transmitting a high-definition video feed back to the detectives. As it hovered over Caleb's property, the image confirmed the neighbor's photo. There, in the middle of the lawn, was the rectangular patch of disturbed soil. The drone operator zoomed in, revealing a small discarded dog collar partially hidden in the grass. Further analysis of the video would later reveal drag marks leading from the back door of the house to the patch of dirt. The evidence was mounting, all captured by a silent observer flying hundreds of feet in the air. The drone footage was undeniable. It provided the police with the concrete evidence they needed to escalate their investigation. The combination of the neighbors' online comments and the aerial surveillance painted a clear and chilling picture. The strange patch of dirt was not for a new flower bed. The drag marks were not from moving garden furniture. The dog collar was a grim trophy. The police now had more than enough reason to get a warrant to search the entire property, including digging up that suspicious patch of ground. The eye in the sky had revealed the secrets hidden on the ground. The next morning, Maple Creek Lane woke up to a sight it had never seen before. Police cars lined the street, their flashing lights casting a silent, pulsing glow on the neat houses. Yellow tape cordoned off the small blue house at number 142. Forensic teams in white suits moved methodically around the property. Neighbors watched from their windows and doorways, speaking in hushed tones. The quiet street was now the center of a major police investigation. The secret that had been hiding in plain sight was about to be unearthed. The forensic team focused their attention on the backyard. Carefully they began to dig. The work was slow and deliberate. The neighbors who had commented on the Facebook post watched in horror, realizing that their casual observations had led to this moment. The digital whispers had materialized into a grim reality. The search for a missing dog had led to a search for a missing person, right in their own neighborhood. It didn't take long. A few feet beneath the surface, the investigators found what they were looking for. They uncovered the remains of a human body wrapped in a tarp. The scene was somber and silent as the team worked to respectfully exhume the victim. The quiet garden had given up its terrible secret. The victim was soon identified as Sarah Jenkins, the young woman who had been missing for 2 weeks. The police also recovered the remains of a dog buried nearby, Buddy, the golden retriever from the Facebook post. Caleb Rains was taken into custody while the search was underway. He was brought to an interrogation room, a stark, windowless space that was a world away from his quiet suburban life. At first, he denied everything, claiming to know nothing about Sarah Jenkins's disappearance. But the detectives had a new kind of evidence. They presented Caleb with printouts of the Facebook comments. Each comment was a piece of a timeline, a citizen-sourced record of his actions that he could not deny. The weight of the digital words was immense. Caleb's composure began to crack. He could argue against police theories, but he couldn't argue against the direct observations of multiple witnesses. These weren't accusations, they were simple statements of fact. Confronted with this chorus of digital testimony, his wall of denial crumbled. He saw that his quiet, anonymous world had been under observation all along. Finally, Caleb Rains confessed. He told the police the whole story. He had met Sarah Jenkins at a bar and brought her back to his house. An argument had turned violent, and he had killed her in a fit of rage. Panicked, he buried her in the backyard under the cover of darkness. The neighbor's dog, Buddy, had wandered into the yard, barking incessantly at the digging, and in his paranoia, Caleb had killed the dog as well to silence it. The Facebook post, the comments, the photo, they all corroborated his confession perfectly. The digital whispers had become the voice of justice. The case of Caleb Rains and Sarah Jenkins sent a ripple through the world of law enforcement and amateur sleuthing. It was a powerful demonstration of how social media had changed the landscape of crime solving. In the past, neighborhood watch programs relied on meetings in community halls and newsletters tacked to bulletin boards. Now, the neighborhood watch was online, operating 24/7 in Facebook groups and on community forums. It was faster, more accessible, and had a much wider reach. Information could be shared and correlated in minutes, not days. This case highlighted the importance of the digital footprint, not just of the criminal, but of the community around them. Every comment, every photo, every shared observation contributed to a larger narrative. These small, seemingly insignificant pieces of data, when brought together, created a powerful intelligence tool. Police departments began to pay more attention to these online spaces, recognizing them as valuable sources of information. They learned that a missing dog post could be as important as an anonymous tip to a police hotline. The public was no longer just a passive observer. They were active participants in the investigative process. The story also served as a modern fable about the nature of community in the digital age. The residents of Maple Creek Lane had lived side by side for years, but it was an online platform that truly brought them together. It gave them a space to voice their concerns without the awkwardness of a face-to-face confrontation. It allowed them to pool their individual knowledge into a collective consciousness. The tragedy of Sarah Jenkins' death had a strange and unexpected side effect. It forged a stronger, more connected community, both online and off. Of course, this new reality also raised questions about privacy and the potential for online speculation to go wrong. But in this specific case, the outcome was undeniably positive. It showed that when used responsibly, social media could be a force for good. The story of the missing dog post that unmasked a murderer is more than just a bizarre crime tale. It is a profound reminder that in our hyper-connected world, no action is truly isolated. The digital breadcrumbs we leave, and the ones we observe, can have immense power. A simple post, a casual comment, or a quickly snapped photo can change the course of an investigation. It can give a voice to a victim who can no longer speak for themselves. It can bring a killer to justice. It shows that even the most mundane corners of the internet can intersect with the most serious aspects of human life. This case teaches us to trust our instincts. The neighbors on Maple Creek Lane felt that something was wrong. The barking was too frantic. The digging was too strange. The patch of dirt was too deliberate. Individually, these were just oddities, but when shared and combined, they became a compelling body of evidence. It is a lesson in the importance of speaking up, even when we are not sure what we are seeing. Your small observation might be the one piece of the puzzle that someone else is missing. The legacy of this story is not just about the successful capture of a criminal. It's about the unexpected ways that justice can be found. It's about the power of a community that comes together, even if it's through a screen. It's a testament to the fact that paying attention matters.